So it's really great that we can meet, we can have this nice chat now, and everybody can see both yourself, learn a bit about you, and also the amazing artwork that you've put out there in the world. So I'm gonna fangirl a bit and wax lyrical, but for folks who are just joining us and perhaps aren't quite sure, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And in a moment we'll take a look at your website, which has got some fabulous art on it.
Sure. Yes. Well, I work as a fantasy artist. I have done now for many years. I started off as a merchandise designer, and then I did quite a lot of work within the games industry. Mostly on Dungeons and Dragons, that I was hired to do illustrations for rule books, miniature designs, all sorts of things like this. So I was working as a freelance commissioned artist. And when you work like that, the illustrations have to suit the game or the book text. So I would get a brief from an art director, and then I would draw the picture to match. So I did really enjoy doing that. But now I've moved into my own brand of artwork, which is marketed as Anne Stokes Collection. So really the big difference there is I get to decide what subjects I paint. So I'm not following a brief from an art director to illustrate something in a book. Part of the big thing about my work is what I'm going to put in the picture, what meaning I'm going to convey by that artwork. And it's worked out really well. I've been doing this now for about 10 years. And the pictures are then licensed to different companies by my agents, and they turn up on things all over the world. Anyway, we'll show you some of those a bit later on when we talk about some specific things I've done.
Yeah, one of the things, and I mentioned it just before, is you have amazing dragons in your artwork, absolutely brilliant. But there's a lot of ladies in your artwork, and they're not the typical damsels in distress. They are very in control of the situation, I think is the best way to describe it. Very empowering ladies who are absolutely stunning. And I love that about your artwork. Sometimes fantasy art can get a little bit like, oh no, oh help, I'm being rescued. And
absolutely.
And these ladies definitely don't need rescuing.
No, they don't. Well, I think it follows on from my personal worldview about women and how capable they are. You know, in a lot of certainly fantasy literature when I was younger, that the heroes were almost always male, and the ladies would be rescued or be princesses or something. And I kind of rebelled against that. And you know, I wanted to make the stars of my pictures the ladies, just to show that they're just as capable. And there is, you know, there's a place for all sorts of interpretations of women, but especially in some fantasy artists will paint the classic lady in a chainmail bikini or something, which is really just there as an object of design, not for her own, you know, skills and importance. So although the ladies in my pictures are usually, I wouldn't say they're unattractive, but they're certainly clothed and armored and ready for action.
Yes, they definitely are. We've just had a message into the Twitch chat from Tea and Cake Gaming. Your store last year at Expo was his favourite. It was amazing to meet you and buy your book. Highlight of the show for them. And it is a strange and different world these days. And now it's really great that we can get the chance to chat with you and everybody can get to meet. But how is art in a digital world? Is it much of a change to kind of like your workflow and your drawing style? You know, do you have a lot of your art, you must have models or references? Has that changed much since we've been so far apart?
Well, not really. I mean, I've often do use model reference. I think it's particularly useful for getting a very naturalistic pose. But it's mainly from photographs rather than having an actual person standing in front of me. So that's fine, really. And yeah, like you say with these, you know, the way we're doing events now, like it's great that the Expo is running this virtual event, and it opens it up really, doesn't it? A lot of people from all over the world can watch.
Yes, we've had a greeting from Australia. Good evening, they say. Good morning, we say. But you do have worldwide fans, don't you? You've got a fabulous tribe on your Facebook and Instagram all over the world.
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the internet, isn't it? It is I can post something on the internet here in the UK, and it will be seen instantly everywhere in the world. So there's no boundaries from the fact that you have to physically go and see people or show them a picture. It's just an amazing tool. And yes, I really value the social media platforms, which means I can share my art with so many people. And certainly my Facebook page particularly has a really big following. I think there's like 350,000 people on there at the minute, which is great, and
Wow.
So I can talk and share images all over the world, which is brilliant.
Do you find like different parts of the world, different folks have different favorites? Like, oh, this one's really popular in the United Kingdom, but the Americans love this style, and down in.
That's a good question. I think actually different people like different subjects. Certainly, I haven't really noticed it being like regional. I do paint quite a variety of subjects. I think that's one of the wonderful things about fantasy art. Is the possibilities are almost endless for subjects you can come up with. So whether it's something quite placid like a unicorn, or whether it's something a big aggressive dragon, or it's a skeleton warrior or something, they have different things that you can paint, and I think perhaps more those would appeal to different people who are more interested in different styles. So
Do you have something that you're like, I absolutely love drawing, like you mentioned unicorns, and you say you work with agents and stuff, and they're like, and please, let's lay off unicorns for March this year. Can we have? Do you have like a favorite, like a gritty?
Sometimes, if I'm working on, say, a project, like, say, for example, a calendar, and if the calendar is themed around a particular subject, like a unicorn or a dragon or whatever, then I might do a set of pictures along that subject to to get enough for the 12 months or something. But other than that, it's totally up to me what I paint. So we have quite a variety of different things.
Yeah, we're just looking. We're at annstokes.com/gallery here. There is some beautiful. I think we've scrolled down. I would think of them as Asimar, beautiful ladies with the feathered wings. They look like angels. We've gone quite a way down at the minute. They're just stunning. And then we've got Medusa, and looks like a ranger snuggling a white dragon, and they're all absolutely phenomenal. How big are these in like real life? Because we lose the perspective when we see this, but when we come to your stand at events, we get to see like the scale of things. How big are these?
Well, most of them are painted digitally, so in that respect, there's not an original painting which you would put on a wall that is a particular size. But I do paint them with different sizes in mind. Like some of the subjects, I think, lend themselves to be printed out on a big poster size, and other subjects are perhaps more suited to a smaller format. So also the level of detail that I would put into the picture is related to how big I'd see it printed. So something like dragon scales could be left a little more vague if it was perhaps going to be the size of a playing card, but if it's going to be blown up to a massive poster, then I would spend quite a lot of time putting in extra detail so that it would hold up okay at that size.
We've got some more comments coming through on the Twitter. Luna Bias, your works are absolutely stunning. They love your pieces and the strength and story you get into each piece. Is that something that you have, like when you sit down for something? Okay, well, I've got a little, maybe 1 or 2 sentence narrative to convey, or is it just something that builds as you draw?
Yes, totally. That is a very big part of what I do. Is in a way, like I mentioned previously, I am my own art director, and the beginning of a picture is not drawing. It is thinking about what it is I want to convey in this picture. Some of them can just purely be an illustration, like of a species of dragon or something, but some of them really have a meaning. So there's a sentiment behind the picture, like, for example, companionship or something. How am I going to convey this within this fantasy scene? So a picture I painted recently was one called Phoenix Rising, and in that there's a phoenix firebird, and the phoenix represents rebirth and renewal and rising from the ashes. So there was sort of a meaning behind that I think perhaps if people look at that one, then they've perhaps been having a bit of a hard time. Maybe they can see that as a little bit of an inspirational image that things will get better. Maybe something wonderful will come out of something difficult.
That leads nicely into a question that JD London has asked on the chat. Have you found that world events impact the themes in your art, either consciously or unconsciously? Does that sort of seep into what you end up drawing or designing?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, things that I've experienced myself, or yes, something that's happened very dramatic, can make me think along a certain line that, oh right, perhaps we'll do a picture based around this particular sentiment, or this thing that's maybe loss, like, or joy, or and then I think, right, now how am I going to convey this? And I find that process really interesting, and I think that's really what fans of my work kind of like about it, is the meaning behind it.
That it always comes from the heart, or
yes, absolutely, it does, and I would say that I always paint positive things, even things with the Grim Reaper or Skeleton in. It's probably got some kind of positive meaning behind it. Like, say, for example, I painted a picture last year called Forever Yours, and this is with a lady and a skeleton ghost, but it's based on the Day of the Dead celebrations. On that day, and it's a Mexican festival where people celebrate their ancestors and the fact that their spirits are forever with them. So even though in that picture you might say, well, that's a bit of a scary image, a skeleton ghost, it actually means that it's love everlasting. So
yeah. So and you mentioned that you always strive to paint a positive side to everything. Is that a very definite approach? I know some people will just take as they come, but always something positive for your art.
I think so. I think it's probably a bit of a reflection of my own outlook on life. I am a pretty positive, optimistic person, and yes, that's really what I would like to give to the world. Something.
And how does your, because you mentioned you do a merchandise and other things as well, how does the design for that, how does the drawing from that differ to your other pieces? Do you have to change, or is it a case you've got such a prolific catalogue and you do so many great works, you can pick and choose and tailor what you want?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a huge back catalogue now of art that is available to companies for license, and with lots of sort of accompanying motifs and things. And actually, I've got something here. If I think you can, if you're looking at me on the camera here. Mm-hmm. So, for example, this is a bit shiny here. This is a picture called Valor, and this is it used on the front cover of a calendar.
Wow.
So there, it needs to be in a square format to fit this shape. Then this is a sculptured figurine that was made from my artwork. So this is another company that I work with that make these. And here I had to do a sketch to show them how this would work. So we have the window behind her on like a sort of a stand. So it's almost like she's standing on a standing throne kind of thing, but it needs to be practical. And then in my original picture, I didn't draw the full figure. It only went down to here. Mm-hmm. So I had to, draw the boots and the bottom of the sword and the base to show the sculptor how to make it.
There must be a little bit of you now and again that has that moment of like, oh, it's a model. It's that sort of nerdy glee at seeing something that previously has only existed within your head become a thing. Do you still get that sort of rush?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice to see my art out there in the world. Sometimes when I wander around, I go in the shop and there it is.
Like,
yes, the sculptures particularly, I mean, they show all the views of my art picture that I never drew. In fact, sometimes I look at them and think, oh, I'd like to do it from that angle.
Oh wow! Like what would it be like the alternate cuts of directors'
Yeah,
films
isn't
and
it?
stuff?
It's something that you perhaps haven't imagined. You can sort of looking over a shoulder. Then actually, I did one time. I did do that. I got a sculpture back of a picture that I did with a lady sat with a unicorn. And I looked at it from behind and I thought, wow, that was just such an interesting way of looking at it. I would never have thought of painting that subject from the back because you can just see the back of their heads. But actually, it works really well. And that, yes, inspired a whole new picture, which was based on the sculpture of my first picture.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Do you ever get people who say, "Oh, we're going to put this on," or "We'd love to use your art for," and you're like, "How are you? That have you ever been stumped by the requests? Have you?"
Yeah, there've been some quite unusual things that we license to, but there are some things that I do say no to.
Oh.
Well, like for example, American company wanted to put my artwork on gun paraphernalia, and they wanted to license a Grim Reaper, and I didn't feel that was appropriate. And whatever your viewpoint on owning guns, that's up to people's personal choice. I personally wouldn't do that, but then I certainly don't think it was appropriate to advertise a Grim Reaper with it.
Yeah.
So I said no.
No,
that's a very extreme example,
but that's part of what Anne Stokes Arts is. You wouldn't expect to see something in the wrong place, and kind of, I know it's a little bit it's a little bit millennial, a little bit modern, like protecting and keeping Anne Stokes art safe is what makes everybody love your style of art a little bit more.
I wouldn't want to sell out over something like that. I mean, that is, as I say, that's a very extreme example, but I wouldn't ever want to promote something that was harmful or inappropriate. So things like sculptures and jigsaw puzzles and books.
Oh, the jigsaw puzzles as well.
It's fine, it's harmless, isn't it? So that's good, and I think that spreads a little enjoyment to people.
Yeah. Do you ever wish or get to the point where you're like, I really want to see this on a messenger bag? Can somebody please license this for a that kind of thing? Or am I right? You have a selection of things yourself that you can go, right, no, I've got this.
Well, I work with, I think now, gosh, I've lost track. I think it's about 60 different companies that we license to, and they all do different products. And at the end of the day, they will pick which ones they want to do, but I can say no. And I can, of course, suggest saying, look, I really think you should do this one. This would work particularly well as a whatever. So it's a sort of a collaborative process in that respect. Often companies specialize. So a company will make bags, or another company will make figurines, or I work with a calendar company that does a lot of printed products. And actually, they did recently, this company that I work with, Flame Tree, I do a lot of products with them, and they did this art book about my work. So that was a really brilliant moment for me to have.
Wow. You've even got shiny bits on the front.
I've been in lots of books, but I haven't had a book just about my pictures. So
is that really... so where can people find that book when they get because that looks like something that would be lovely to just keep in your living room?
It's called The Art of Anne Stokes. If you put that in the internet on Amazon or eBay or anywhere really, it'll pop up. It's in bookshops worldwide. So and that's got a huge number of my pictures in. I mean, not all of them, but also I've written a little bit of text next to each picture to explain a little bit about what it meant. So
Jamie Wood over on the Twitch has asked, what games have your art what games has your art been in? Words on Sunday morning are hard.
They certainly are. Well, most prolifically, Dungeons and Dragons, actually. So I have now here some rule books I did for Dungeons and Dragons that I thought,
wow, yeah.
This is some time ago that I worked within this industry, because now I'm so busy with my licensed art, I just don't have time really to do commissions too. But say, for example, now this is a rule book that was produced by Wizards of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Magic of Incarnum. And so there's lots of interior illustrations. And hang on, I've just marked a page here. I will find one with my picture in. There we go. So this is an illustration that I did for the book. So this is a special creature that's made out of this special magical stuff, Incarnum. So that was part of the art. And actually, for this book, I got to design a dragon. Because you know, when I was a teenager, I absolutely loved playing Dungeons and Dragons. I was totally inspired by the art in the rule books, which was mainly in the books that I had then was Larry Elmore and Jeff Easley. And I thought they were absolutely brilliant. If I could have gone back and told my younger self that I would be drawing a dragon in a Dungeons and Dragons rule book, she would have absolutely freaked. But so that's the Incarnum dragon.
Wow.
Which is, let's say, one that I got to design for the book, so that was cool.
That's awesome. That was that like the beginning of a long and exciting dragon creation, or was it?
Yeah, I've always loved dragons, you know, and so with those sorts of commissions, you don't always get hired to do the dragon, but that was particularly cool. I think actually I started off with Wizards. They did a campaign called Eberron for D&D, and I did loads of illustrations for that. And then I worked on the 4th edition rule books for Dungeons and Dragons. So, you know, there were a big variety of subjects. I didn't necessarily do lots of dragons, but I certainly do lots now. I think they're probably my favorite subject.
Oh, wow. So I've found on your website under where is it? Just let me remind myself. Under collections, if we scroll down, we can see now. I just show everybody the art of the cover of the art of Anne Stokes, mythical, gothic, and fantasy. It looks amazing with that lady with the staff, and I'm a fan of redhead ladies, as everybody, because that's what I am. But it looks amazing. How long do these pieces take?
Well, actually, it certainly varies depending on how detailed they are, but maybe about a week, though.
Gosh.
There's an awful lot of time thinking about what to paint. So that which is kind of unspecified, me wandering around in the world thinking of, I'm going to do this. I haven't really added up how long that takes to come up with the idea. But yes, it's certainly a big body of work that I've done over a number of years.
Amazing. Tisha Dragon on Twitch says they have more of your dragon art than they should really admit to.
Oh, really?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have all the dragons everywhere. So where can people find your art? Like normally we'd come down to your stand and we get to see everything there. Where can we, if we haven't already, find you on the internet?
Well, you can go to my website, which is annestokes.com. That's Anne with an E. And there's a gallery there with quite a selection of pictures in. And then I also have a Facebook page, which you can find on Facebook as Anne Stokes Art. Again, that's ANNE, Stokes Art. And every day, since this lockdown started, I've been posting a featured artwork of the day. And I sort of initially did it thinking that I might entertain people a little bit that are stuck at home bored, isolating. And it's kind of progressed. So I've gone through, I don't know, it started in the UK here in March, I think it was, wasn't it? We had to,
just towards the end of March, we've all been at home.
I've been putting up one of my pictures every day. So if you follow my page there, there's something for each day to have a look at.
We've just,
and then also we put links out to other products and things there too, and hopefully we also do. I mustn't forget. We do a video Tuesday, so every Tuesday we post a video. I work with a really great couple of guys from a company called Media Mavericks who film us, and we usually record a set of videos each month with them. So yeah, if you go on the page on Video Tuesday, there'll be, maybe I'm talking about a picture or a technique or a sculpture that we're working on or a show we've been to or something. And they do a brilliant job of putting those videos together. And I think it's a really good way for me to talk to people and tell people more about my art. So I've really enjoyed that. And of course, you can just go to the video section if you've missed them and look them up. And we have we put them on a YouTube channel too, which again is Anne Stokes Art.
Oh, amazing. We've just snuck over to your Facebook page, just letting everybody see so they know they've got the right Anne Stokes. But
yeah.
but having seen the banner on your Facebook page, how could we not know you were the right one? There's some fabulous ladies on there. And today's art is these wonderful well, I say wonderful, but they look like they're tormenting the poor chaps on the boats. From the wraparound art from Dungeons
I put
and
that one
Dragons.
up because you were going to interview me. That is actually a book cover I did years ago for a role-playing book on Dungeons and Dragons. So I thought that was kind of an appropriate one for a game show interview.
Yes, definitely. We have many, many fans. I'm pretty certain there'll be a few folks here at Virtually Expo who've got this book, treasured it, and it's great. Oh, there's a puppy. Oh, folks, we've got a picture of a puppy, and the internet loves puppy.
Right, yeah. There you go. See, now, I usually don't post anything but fantasy art, but I got a little puppy a couple of days ago called Blake. And actually, the day I went to pick him up, I put as a featured picture an artwork called Safe Haven, which is a lady cradling a little dragon. And I told people that I was posting this today because of what was happening in my life, that I felt that was, a picture with similar sentiment. And loads of people said, oh, you must post a picture of the puppy when you get him. So there we are. The very cute Blake.
Love puppies.
Facebook, yeah. He's so lovely. I hopefully he's probably off. My son's looking after him at the minute while we have this interview. He's probably off wrecking something, but
oh no.
As tiny puppies do, but he's absolutely adorable.
There's a few people over in the Twitch chat are suddenly realizing. I just realized the bicycle deck of Age of Dragon playing cards is by yourself. And Pandillion Knight is great to kind of put the face to the name. Luna Bias obviously follows you already because they love the daily artwork and it helps them to connect with you and everybody around. And yeah, Trixix has got mugs with all your art on and angels too. So
cool.
Lots of love for you going on in the chat. It's been phenomenal to have a moment with you. I'm very jealous that you now get to go and play with a puppy.
I know, he's so cute. But well, I suppose there you go. That's one of the benefits of Virtual Expo. I'm very sorry that the show couldn't go ahead in the way that it could, but it's wonderful that we can all do this from our own homes and communicate together. And do you think next year, when hopefully you run the actual expo at the NEC, you might also do some sort of virtual event for people too?
Do you know the jury is out on how we're going to do that, or in what way we're going to do that. All I can ask is that folks, if you are enjoying this side of Virtually Expo, register for some badges, follow folks on Twitter, go and engage with all the trade halls and all the folks' websites, and just let us know how and what ways you've used Virtually Expo, because right now it's a strange new world. And if I'm honest, we've been working out some of this stuff as we've gone along, especially over here on Twitch.
Absolutely. Well, I think you've done a brilliant job.
Oh, thank you. I'll make sure everybody knows.
Yes, absolutely. And like what you're saying about people engaging with it, it's these events or my page or whatever. It's a collective. It's what everybody makes of it, and people that take the time to comment or participate or go and check it out or whatever, they help make these things possible.
Indeed.
And I really appreciate all the people that follow my work and take an interest in it. That's why I'm able to do what I do for a living.
It is. And you do such wonderful things. I do love your artwork. They are phenomenal dragons and wonderful ladies. There's much love in the chat. Folks, do go and say hello to Anne over on her Facebook page. And you can find more links. Get ready for Tuesdays with the videos. And it's been great to take a moment with you and just, I think, just slow down and take a moment to breathe. It's been a bit breakneck this weekend. Have a wonderful afternoon, Anne. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you, Millie. Thanks very much. You too. I hope the rest of your day goes